The indigenous people of Biafra repose over Nnamdi Kanu's court victory. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Emissary News. Now we bring you the topmost of the top news where they happen all over the world. Don't forget to like this channel. Don't forget to comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Please remember to hit the subscription button. That is the only way you can support this work for it to keep moving on. Just hit the subscription button and also the like button on your notifications so that whenever our news enter, you'll be the first. We will collect them or listen to the news proper. Following Thursday's court judgment, which discharged the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, of all counts of terrorism charges preferred against him by the federal government. Prominent individuals and groups of Igbo extraction have called on President Muhammadu Buhari to unconditionally release the separatist leader. They argued that the government had lost legality to keep holding the leader in the custody and urged Buhari to honor his promise to a delegation of Igbo elders whom he promised to abide by the rule of law. The Igbo stakeholders also suggested for a political solution to permanently resolve the lingering issues in the southeast. The Court of Appeal, Abuja, Thursday held that the IPOB leader was extraordinary rendition to Nigeria and that the action was a flagrant violation of country's extradition treaty and also a breach of his fundamental human rights. The court therefore struck out the terrorism charge fired against Kanu and orders his release. The appeal court judgment followed an earlier ruling of the trial judge, Bin Tanyako, of the Federal High Court in Abuja. On April 8, dismisses 8 of the 15 amended counts filed against him by the federal government. In a judgment on Thursday, the Court of Appeal panel led by Jumani Sankey struck out all remaining charges against Mr. Kanu, ruling that the lower court lacks the jurisdiction to entertain the suit. The court held that Mr. Kanu's extradition from Kenya in June 2021 to Nigeria without following the extradition rules was a flagrant violation of Nigeria's extradition treaty and a breach of the indigenous people of Biafran's leader fundamental human rights. The separatist leader was accused of various offenses in 15 counts, including treasonable felony and terrorism, offense he allegedly committed in the course of his Biafra Nation agitation. The trial judge had ruled that counts 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 14 were incompetent for not disclosing any valid offenses against the defendant. The judge had asked the prosecution to proceed to trial on the remaining 7 charges, ordering the prosecuting lawyer, Shwani Labaran, to file a fresh proof of evidence before May 18, the next hearing date. Sunday Vanguard reported that the judge, in a separatist ruling on 8 April, validated the federal government repatriation of Kanu from Kenya to face the charges pending against him in Nigeria. However, despite the appellate court ruling, the government has maintained that it would not release the indigenous people of Biafra leader. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, in a statement late Thursday by his spokesperson, Umar Gbandu, argued that the court only discharged Kanu and did not acquit him. Malami said the government was reviewing its legal options and could institute other charges against the IPOB leader, saying that the decision of the appeal court was on a single issue that borders on rendition. But Igbo Lawyer Association, ILA, in a swift response, lambasted Malami for his position, arguing that the FG has no excuses not to obey the court judgment. The Igbo Lawyers Association coordinator and immediate past vice chairman of the Nigerian Bar Association, Aba Branch, Victor Onweremadu, said the AGF's view on the matter is wrong and could amount to contempt of court. You cannot build something on nothing. It will crumble, and that is what Malami is doing. He started on the wrong footing, and the court is saying he can't continue, but he is saying that he must. That is wrong and can amount to contempt of court arising from disobedience to court judgment. As long as Nnamdi Kanu is in Nigeria through that forceful abduction, there can be no more trial on the matter because the trial court is bad, Omoremadu explained. The Igbo Lawyers Association argued that the legal process of stay of execution applies only in civil matters, but not in criminal matters. Hence, there is no basis to continue holding the appellant. Also reacting, the Abia State governorship candidate on the platform of All Progressive Grand Alliance, APOGA, Professor Greg Ibe, advised the FG not to let the opportunity of restoring normalcy to the Southeast slip off. He commanded the judiciary for affirming its position as the last bastion of hope for the common man and pleaded with the government to resist the temptation of appealing the landmark judgment. Ibe advocated political solutions as a way of finding lasting remedies that will engender peace while enhancing oneness and inclusivity, and help stop the current Monday sit-at-home exercise that has destroyed the economy of the Nigerian region. In the same vein, the co-chair of the Interfaith Peace and Dialogue Forum, Bishop Sunday Onoha, asked the federal government to first obey the court ruling by releasing Kanu even if it had the intention of appealing the judgment. The cleric, who was part of the delegation that had an audience with the president concerning Kanu, advised him to avoid being seen as encouraging lawlessness. His words, when we met with Mr. President last year, he assured us that he would want the rule of law to take its course. So since he has spoken to say he wants the rule of law, and a court of competent jurisdiction has said that Kanu is innocent, the president must honor his own words. The president told us he wanted to toe the path of the law. Those who work with him should ensure that the words of Mr. President are honored and respected. Similarly, the member representing Aba South State constituency in Abia State House of Assembly, Honorable Obinna Ichita, advised the federal government to consider some of the issues being raised by Kanu and his followers to permanently address them in the overall interest of the country. This, he said, would help restore peace to the Southeast. The judgment is another boost to the effort to deepen democracy in our land. It speaks to the independence and erudition of the judiciary. The spontaneous excitement across the length and breadth of the land following the judgment validates the argument that Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is an important factor in any conversation towards finding a lasting solution to the challenges in the Southeast in particular and in Nigeria in general, the lawmaker opined. Meanwhile, Kanu's family has described the judgment as a victory for all. His younger brother, Prince Emmanuel, said the family expected the federal government to comply with the judgment. He said Nigeria should comply because it's an order by her own court of competent jurisdiction. It is also in line with the UN opinion on Human Rights Commission, so Nigeria has no excuse to disobey the ruling. That's how we've seen it today in Emissary News. Don't forget to like this channel. Don't forget to comment. I think that Nigerian government should actually focus on what the court has decided. I think they say that the court is the hope of the common man, and with the issue of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu MNK, the court has made their decision. I think the Attorney General and also the Minister of Justice of Nigeria, in the person of Abubakar Malami, should also know what he is supposed to do, since the court has given their own ruling by discharging Mazi Nnamdi Kanu and also striking out all the count charges that have been preferred against him, I think it's time that the federal government allow him to take his leave so that peace will reign both in Nigeria in general and also in the southeast. Of course, the victory that followed the announcement of the proceedings in his last court outing. And with that, you'll be able to know that many people in the southeast and in Nigeria in general has Nnamdi Kanu at heart. So I think the president, according to his promise, that have said that he wants to follow the rule of law, should abide by the rule of law because nobody is above the law. I think that is how it's supposed to be. Let me draw the curtain here. Don't forget that you are still listening to Emizari News. Don't forget to like, don't forget to comment, don't forget to subscribe. Please hit the subscription button now. Just hit the subscription button. That is the only way you can support Emizari News. Thank you for listening. God bless you.